I'm late to the party on this one, but The Contestant on Hulu is both messed up and heartwarming. It's a bit like Oldboy, but with much less trauma. A Japanese reality TV star is left naked in a room for more than a year, tasked with filling out magazine sweepstakes to earn food and clothing. So the documentary details out how Tomoaki Hamatsu, nicknamed Nasubi, unknowingly became a television phenomenon by remaining in a tiny room with nothing but magazine competitions to fund his survival. Now there are interviews not only with Nasubi, but also the producer who dreamed up this obscenely torturous reality show, as well as Nasubi's mom, some of the production crew, and journalists. Now Nasubi knew there was a camera that was recording him, but he was under the assumption that this was more of a trial type thing. He was an unknown person, so he never believed that any of it would ever see the light of day. Oh, was he wrong! Through the camera capturing his existence in this tiny room, we get to witness the degradation of a human spirit. Nasubi starts out positive, but then as he begins to realize the direness of his situation, his mental state, along with his physical state, they begin to be drastically affected. It is a tough watch at times because we see how he's deteriorating. And I think some of this has got to be cultural because as we watch the replay of some of the actions, the audience watching this, they are laughing out loud. And for me, there was zero in the humor department at these times. Like Nasubi being awoken in the middle of the night with the flashlight. He's squinting and just trying to figure out what the heck is going on. But the audio is filled with the studio audience's cackles and applause. Now, I'm a bit shocked that the documentary captures so much information from the producer of this. He almost committed a crime against humanity with the psychological distress that he put Nasubi through, especially because of all of the things that Nasubi did not know were happening. I mean, being shown to an audience, being broadcast on one of the most popular shows in Japan, and never being told the point. We get to hear the scheming that the producer undertook to make certain things happen, and even to convince Nasubi to stay. The ad revenue from the show had to be astounding. It was a national hit, but we're not told any of that. Did Nasubi ever get a cut of the revenue that was generated? I mean, I think he probably did at some point, but the documentary doesn't provide us that information. So it feels like a large injustice was perpetrated on him, and he didn't get anything in return. There's a level of humiliation in this that is just sickening. I mean, Nasubi is so conditioned to do certain things that when the show reaches its finale, he's put into a situation that he's unaware of and then disgraces himself once more. And all because he had been trained to do this through the isolation and the rules of his confinement. But then the documentary changes course and pivots to a storyline that is much more uplifting and positive. As Nasubi works through his emotions and mental state of just taking part in this show, he works to find healthy ways to experience life. And in turn, he becomes a massive benefit to his hometown of Fukushima. His infamy is turned to fame, which he then uses to inspire. But it goes much farther than that when we're shown how he has a heart designed just to help and care for others. We get to witness how he puts his compassion into action, and this then showcases the tenacity of spirit. That although the producer callously designed this game to break the human will of Nasubi and use his mental anguish for entertainment, Nasubi rose above all of that, inspiring the nation in ways the shows never could. The whole production of this, I think it's executed well, from informative and captivating interviews to the editing of the show footage to just bring us along on Nasubi's journey. Seeing him flow through that gamut of emotions, including deep depression, starvation-induced delirium, and then genuine joy from just the smallest of successes. And while the documentary can incense you because of just the injustice that's poured out on him, it will also leave you with a huge smile on your face thanks to his indomitable spirit and his genuine heart. I think the one thing the show did, whether it was truly intended or not, was to put a mirror to the audience, to showcase the depravity of a society that is willing to watch the deterioration of another person and then gain enjoyment from their torment, strictly under the guise of entertainment. I mean, it's human nature to be curious. And for whatever reason, we're drawn to the macabre, to the suffering of others. I mean, maybe it creates a sense of relief that we're not experiencing it. Maybe it's cathartic to know that we're not alone in the suffering. But no matter the cause, it is a reality that can most times showcase the worst, but occasionally, like in the case of Nasubi himself, show how great a person can be. There's no sex, some nudity, some profanity, and no violence. Now, as a reminder, I don't give couch ratings to documentaries, but I highly recommend checking out The Contestant on Hulu. It's quick, maddening, and uplifting all at once. So, would you take part in a game show where you were stripped, stuck in a box, and could only live off things you won? That's a no for me. But let me know if you would like to do that in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.